Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Daniel Rondberg, and in today's video, we're gonna dive into how to properly calculate your life insurance needs. Understanding these calculations can be really important to securing your family's financial future, so let's dive in. Now, before we start with the calculations, let's talk about why life insurance is so crucial. Life insurance provides financial protection in case of your untimely passing. It ensures your family will be taken care of and maintain their standard of living if you're no longer there to provide that for them. Now, the first step in assessing your family's life insurance needs is to calculate your current obligations. What we want to do is take a look at all of your existing debts. So we want to take a look at your mortgage, your car loans, your credit cards, and add all those up to get a number. This will be a really good starting place to build on, and we're going to add to this as we go along to figure out how to properly calculate the life insurance needs that you're going to have. Now, additionally, you want to consider your family's monthly expenses. So groceries, utility bill, cell phone bill, everything that it costs to run your existing standard of living going forward for your family. You want to take those monthly expenses and multiply them by 12, and then you want to multiply that by the number of years you want to offer that financial protection and peace of mind for your family. The next step is you want to account for your funeral and all final expenses. One good way to do this is to research the average costs of funerals in your area, and then think about how you want your life celebrated, and that'll give you a number to start with. Funerals can be costly, and having a plan ready for that can ease the burden on your family during a time that's already very difficult for them. Now, the next step is we want to consider income replacement. So think about the amount of net monthly income you bring in every single month, multiply that by 12, and then again, like the expenses, you want to multiply that by the number of years you want to offer that protection for your family. Now, if you have savings and investments, you may want to consider excluding them from your life insurance needs. These assets could provide additional financial security and a cushion for your family. So if you want to get an accurate calculation and you want to consider these, maybe consider subtracting these from your life insurance needs to help make sure your number is pretty accurate for what you actually want to have happen. Now, there may be certain circumstances you have in your life that would cause you to adjust your needs for life insurance. For example, if you have young children, you may want to consider things like future educational expenses that you want to provide for, and you may also want to consider weddings or other things that you want to see have happen in case you're no longer there to make sure that that does for your family. Alternatively, if you have a spouse that isn't working or is now thrust into the provider and homemaker role, you may want to consider things that would make that life a lot easier, like housekeeping, gardening services, and maintaining a pool. Now that you've gathered all the necessary information, it's time to put together your final calculation. Add up all the figures we discussed, subtract what you need to, and then that'll give us a starting place to figure out your specific life insurance needs. Let's go through an example to help illustrate how this would work. Meet Sarah. She's a 35-year-old working mother of 2 children that she wants to provide protection for the next 10 years until they're out of the house. So let's start by assessing her current financial obligations. Currently, she has an outstanding mortgage of $250,000. She has a car loan of $20,000 and student loans of $30,000, which brings her total current debts to $300,000. Now, her monthly family expenses are $4,000 a month. She wants to provide financial support for the next 10 years. So you would take the $4,000, multiply that by 12, that would give you $48,000. Multiply that by 10, that would give you $480,000 of monthly expenses she would need to cover. Now, for her funeral and final expenses, we did an average of her local area about $10,000. The next step is we want to calculate her income replacement. So Sarah brings in $5,000 a month of net income. Again, we want to provide that for 10 years. So you take the $5,000, multiply that by 12, that would give you $60,000. Multiply that by 10 by the number of years, and that would give you $600,000. She also has savings and investments of $50,000, so she wants to subtract that. So in order to get her final calculation, you would take the $300,000 of current debt, the $480,000 of monthly expenses for the next 10 years, the $10,000 for her funeral and final expenses. We want to subtract out $50,000, and then you'd want to add in her income of $600,000. So that would give you a total life insurance need of $1,340,000, and that would make sure everything in Sarah's scenario that she wants to have happen is accurately represented. Now, this doesn't consider special things she wants to do, like potentially weddings, college funds, maybe a fund to buy a house or start a business for her children. So you could add those in if you feel like that's appropriate or something you want to take care of. One special thing that Jennifer and I did with our specific estate plan is we actually outlined specific intervals in time for our daughters that we wanted to provide certain things if we were no longer there to actually do that in person. And one thing that's really important to me that I want to touch on real quick is I often sit down with clients that have young families or people they want to protect, spouses, and we'll flip through their banking app. They can find dozens of examples of times they spent $50, $75, $100, $200 on frivolous expenses like a DoorDash order or excess money they spent at a store. And that could be actually the money they'd be using to secure their family's needs if they were no longer there to take care of them. One other thing I want to throw in before I get to my final thoughts is it's really important to find the right type of policy to offer this protection. Generally speaking, we're going to use term life insurance to offer this type of financial protection so that we can get the most amount of insurance for the least amount of premium. That being said, these terms only run specific durations of time. So it's important to maybe figure out the right type of strategy for your term so they actually meet the time frames you want to protect. For example, if you have 20 years of protection to provide for your family and you buy a 10-year term life insurance policy, at the end of the 10 years, that term will be up and the premiums will start to increase. It may be important to consider the right term for the duration of time you want to protect for your family. And I'm going to do a future video on choosing the right type of policy to protect the needs that you want to look out for you and your family. Remember, these calculations are just a starting point. It's always a good idea to consult the right insurance professional so that they can help customize your needs based on what you want to have happen in your life. Calculating your life insurance needs seems daunting, but it's a crucial step in making sure your family has the right protection for their future. Remember, it's really important not to just set it and forget it. You really want to review your needs regularly with this insurance professional to make sure that as your life changes, your life insurance changes to reflect how you want to protect you, your family, your spouse, your loved ones. Thanks so much for watching this video. I sincerely appreciate it. Please consider subscribing. We're coming out with new how-to videos every week. Please like the video and share it with anybody who needs to hear this message. And also, please leave your questions down below in the comments. I love connecting with all my viewers. I sincerely appreciate it. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.